Real fast.
Yeah, there are a lot of Easter eggs coming up.
Yeah, she's gonna be moving like this, traveling. It's gonna be cool.
Hi everybody and welcome to a round of Gwent episode 4. So as always, I am joined by co-host Pavel Borja.
Hey guys.
And today we have special guests Abby and Lorenzo who are going to be telling us a bit about the cards within Gwent, how they're created, and how you go from static cards to the amazing premium cards which we see in the game. We're also going to be learning a bit about the evolution of the cards over Gwent's lifetime. So would you like to tell everybody at home what your role is in the company?
I work as an animator on Gwent, and my favorite faction is monsters.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's not my favorite faction.
Oh, absolutely.
I prefer Skoya. Seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
The best faction.
So yeah, my name is Lorenzo, and I'm an illustrator. And I mean, I love card games, so I'm very happy to be part of the team.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one who loves card games here.
Me too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we play a lot.
So you're responsible for the kind of static arts and then you make them come to life. Is that about right?
That's right.
I'm the first step. You are the third
step.
maybe.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird to think that way, but
Yeah.
most likely that.
Yeah, it's like a pipeline. You start with something and then you move on to that. It's really cool. But if we go back, you remember we had Gwent as addition to The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and then step by step we're kind of changing the art style, improving it. How did the process pretty much look? Because like the versions in The Witcher 3, they didn't have the cool banners, they weren't as shiny, glossy, and they didn't have the new frames, and also you were not limited as to as many gold cards you can have in your deck. But then kind of we started developing them and making them a lot more different. And I think also like Nilfgaard was a big part as when the art style changed and improved. So could you maybe, Lorenzo, talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's funny because the Gwent started as like some kind of improvement of the dice poker from Witcher 1 and 2. So I think at the time we just wanted to add this kind of feeling of, okay, it's a mini game, but it has to feel you have to feel this kind of old cool game feeling. So all the cards, they were looking like more or less like tarot cards, I would say. So with very static pose, and that was cool, and we really enjoyed that. But when we decided to go for a standalone thing, a game, we were like, we have to come up with something more dynamic, like we're going to showcase a lot of characters so they just don't have to stand. And also we had this idea of making them premium, so with its animation. So of course you can guess that the people were not going to stand like this and doing like
one pose.
So yeah, I think that's the reason why we tried to, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, just from animation point of view, if you see the old cards, the characters are basically just standing as if they're, a portrait, and that doesn't give much room for imagination in terms of animation on what you can do with the characters. So all you could do is just make the character look around, and that's not very interesting compared to the cards that you see now, where someone is killing someone, or for example, Geralt is throwing Igni. So you have more room for VFX and animation and ideas. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you were mentioning the evolution with Nilfgaard, and I think that's because we had a lot of new illustrators coming working for Gwent, because we needed a lot of cards actually, and we pretty much kind of run out of ideas of okay, so this character is standing with a sword, okay, this guy is shooting with an arbalest. And at some point we just had to come up with like new compositions, new colors. And the cool thing is that we have kind of a lot of space in each cards to use our ideas. It's not like we had just a small frame. I mean, the whole card is visible in the battlefield, which is really cool for us.
I personally really enjoy the kind of parallax effect where you're able to move the card around and see kind of around the corner. It really
Peek around the corner.
Yeah, it lends itself to like the immersion of the cards.
But this has a cool story actually, because when we were thinking about making premium cards, our art director, Kasia Redeshu, she was really looking for something different for the premium cards, and she came out at the studio with this picture of a cat. I love this story, and it was like
what story is this?
It was a gif of a cat, like very psychedelic with
okay.
like 3D
cool
effects.
colors moving back and forth, and it was like
And I think she showed it to Adam Badowski, and
it's like that's the premium version.
That's the premium version. It has to look like this. I'm not sure.
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
Still, there were a lot of work, and I think the first premium cards was an Aracas.
Okay.
It was looking very cool.
I remember when you tilted the card, you could see that there was a little mouse in the corner. It was like, it was like what you said, adding a little bit of backstory to it, like adding a little bit more to the card.
Yeah. So could you tell us a little bit about the process of creating all of these wonderful premium cards that we have in Gwent? So you'll obviously start with some kind of idea based in the lore, I guess, and then come up with versions.
So usually the writers of the game, they come up with a pitch that we read, and we try to respect that pitch. But when we come up with new ideas, of course, there is no issues. So this is how it starts. We provide 3 sketches, and then we just gather all the illustrators. We just gather, and we choose one of those 3 sketches. And once it's done, we just work and to achieve the illustration. And then we pass to those dudes to do the hard work.
So once the illustration is done, we pass it to the modeling department, who then creates the model of the illustration, and then we work on the animation. So depending on the illustration, if the character is from the game, then we look at the Witcher games and see if the character has any specific movements, what was the role in the game, and then we implement that on the cards. But if the character is not from the game, we have to do some background research, similar to a detective, what's his story, and if he's a good guy or a bad guy, what are its characteristics. And once all of that research is done, we see the illustration and try to understand what is the story that is being told in the illustration, and if we can justify the art with the animation and VFX on top of it. So one example is of one of the crones, Wispus, and she has some twitching going on, so that was in the game, so we added that in the card as well to stay true to the character, so she's just not another creepy old lady.
Yeah, but that's not the best part, right? Sometimes when I'm working around the studio, I see you acting kind of weird. I recognize the cards.
So like as animators, we have different approaches that we take towards animating the cards. So some of our animators actually act it out. So if they're working on a character, they are going to record themselves and just repeat the movements, and they actually get into the mood of the character. So it looks quite funny, especially when they're shooting outside, because inside people know what they're doing, but outside, when you're walking around, you're taking a stroll, and there's this guy who's just being a weird person running around.
Creepy dude outside.
That can go terribly wrong in so many ways. Some person just looking at a guy and calling the cops. There's this weird person doing something, and then next day, one of the animators is missing.
That's
but luckily that didn't happen. And I personally listen to music when I'm working. Not that kind of music.
No, that was terrible.
Yeah. But for example, when I worked on Heim, the illustration was so creepy. To come up with ideas, I was listening to the soundtrack from The Conjuring, because it's just so depressing in a good way. It actually set my mood, and you can actually visualize what's going on. So yeah, it helps a lot. And you can take references online as well.
Yeah. So there are lots of ways that the animating team get into the zone.
Yes,
some
you
people
have to go into that zone and not get out of it until the animation is done.
Yeah, so we've obviously got some hidden acting talents within the team here as well.
Yeah.
Oscar-winning performances.
But it's also for the static illustrations. Like, for example, if you want to show a pose, you most likely need someone to sit down and take a photo.
Oh yeah, we do that a lot. Basically, most of the pictures I have on my phone is like pictures of my own hands. It's kind of weird, because right, like the hands are the most tricky part of the human anatomy to draw.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we do that a lot. Also, like you said, we're just taking the pose for. So basically, we have lots of plastic swords at the studio that we use. They look kind of ridiculous because they're made from foam.
Like foam, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw those. I was like, well, why do they need those?
We need those.
Do they fight in between?
I mean, I wish we had the proper equipment like you do. Where's your sword, by the way?
It actually fell down. Here it is.
Take care of your sword, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we do, because we really need to be as realistic as possible.
Yeah.
And in that case, you really don't do that without a proper reference. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think everyone really appreciates the art within the game. It's one of the kind of main selling points of Gwent is the beautiful art which you guys create and how immersive the cards are and the attention to detail, as well as the little, you know, Easter eggs which come along with some of the cards as well.
You have to be patient to find those
there
Easter
are a lot
eggs.
of Easter eggs coming up.
The one I like is the one with Regis, which is one of the cards that you enjoy, right?
Yeah, I love Regis.
But don't tell anybody what's happening after what, 5 minutes?
5 minutes, yeah. You have to watch the card for 5 minutes, and then you will see what happens.
Yeah,
You really gotta be patient.
It's a little detail, but I think players, not most of them actually caught that Easter egg. So it's like actually one of the good ones.
So could you tell us a bit about maybe like what your favorite card is, your favorite premium card in the game?
My favorite premium card is Vilgefortz. I saw that card and he's just absolutely destroying that person with fire, and
That
he's
person.
No spoilers.
Who's that person? I don't know.
well, after his face is burned, we probably never know who that person was anyway. But yeah, he looks so menacing, and he's like enjoying what he's doing, and I absolutely love that.
He's grinning, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's like that card turns me evil. It's like, you know, if I get that power, I'd totally do that as well.
I wonder who acted that one out. You have to watch out for them.
Yes, I'd totally do that.
Sometimes we really look forward for the animation. Like when Nemanja was illustrating this card, we're like, oh, okay, so that can be out of control. and it did.
Yeah. So what's your favorite premium
My favorite card has also the best name. It's Asir Var Anahid. It's the lady with the cat portal. I think it's a crazy idea, and I love it. Like the VFX guys that just came out with this kind of different atmosphere, color atmosphere at some point. And I think it's really well done.
Yeah.
Also, it's very psychedelic.
Yeah, definitely.
You were mentioning that you love to listen to creepy songs.
Oh yes,
and I love to listen to psychedelic rock music. I think it fits.
It fits into the whole illustrator persona. Talking about new things, we also have 3 new premiums that we want to showcase.
Yes, we've got a bit of a reveal today.
Yes.
Is it a leak?
It is a leak.
Oh.
You know I love leaks. So we have a new version of Geralt. Erden.
Would you like to tell us maybe a bit about Erden and how it was created or who created it?
So yeah, I think this card was made by Anna Podedborna, and the cool thing is that it showcases a Noon Wraith in the background.
Yeah.
And it fits perfectly the quest actually in the game, where it's the first time that it really gets important, and you can like that's the only way to fight a Noon Wraith, right?
Yeah, definitely. The sign is very fitting. So we've got, what have we got so far? We've got Quen, we've got Ard, Erden now. Igni, obviously. So Axie maybe on the horizon.
Yeah.
I hope the next one will be Geralt Vodka.
Yeah, I think I like that idea. That should be a card.
In Yennefer's clothes.
In the party in Camoran, that'll be perfect.
Okay, so we said we have the new Geralt, but we also have a new Ciri as well.
Yes.
This is version 3 of Ciri.
Ooh, this one was hard to create.
What's up with the hands like?
Yeah.
What's that? Tell me more.
Guess what's happening? She's traveling between the worlds.
Whoa, okay.
That was the idea, and because she's not doing it in the game, that was kind of hard to come up with an idea of, okay, what does it look like? So what I wanted to showcase is like part of her body are in different dimensions. So basically you can see that she doesn't have like 4 different arms, of course. It's just that they are kind of warping around her. It also gives this kind of a clockwork feeling. That, so I was very like curious to see what the animators and the VFX artists were going to do with this one, because I was like, I don't even really understand what's going on here, but they will figure out.
So how did you find tackling this problem of making traveling between different dimensions translate to 2D?
The concept was so tricky that, you know, how do you show that in animation? Because it's not a 3D model, so you can't rotate Ciri around, you can't like put her wherever you want. But we took reference from the fight in Kaer Morhen, where Ciri loses all her, control, and she's like screaming, and all the energy around her, and the card looked very similar. So we thought, okay, let's try that. So we have an intro for the card where she screams, and everything, the energy, everything is just going up, and she's screaming, and. What we thought we can do with the hand, instead of animating the hand separately behind her, to not make it look like it's a different hand, we thought it's just going to follow the same path of her original hand. It's just that it's going to jitter so that it looks like she's, losing the control of her powers, and she's kind of teleporting, but not teleporting,
like
and glitching.
Yeah, through the
exactly.
Matrix. Yeah,
glitching
cool.
like Roach.
Yeah. And then the VFX guys added on top of that, and they made the energy look so intense that, I think it'll be very clear what's going on. It won't be as confusing.
Yeah, you guys did a very good job. Thank you for that. That was not an easy one.
Yeah.
I don't think it was an easy concept for anyone,
Definitely.
How do you
Traveling through space and time is quite hard
so
to put in card form.
It's difficult to get what Lorenzo had in his mind when he was listening to psychedelic rock and they're going like, yeah, she's gonna be moving like this, traveling, it's gonna be cool. And then the guys were like, I don't see it. Oh wait, okay.
But I think you start to understand me. That's cool.
See?
Yeah, I really like the consistency through lots of cards which have a similar kind of experience. So we have this version of Siri and also Pavetta and Ithleen, who are all kind of, I think they're known as sources, and they're like channeling their powers.
Channeling their powers.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
It's really, really cool. Talking about impressive things, the third card that we have is Uma, the most requested card by the community. Like my favorite character, just because it's cute and creepy at the same time. And yeah, it's just jumping up and down, trying to catch a butterfly.
Does he catch it at some point? No, come on. He's not cruel.
No,
Maybe there's Easter egg.
He doesn't catch it.
I don't think he's like cruel
Catch
to
it and
animals. He's just like that would be cruel.
Did you do that, guys? No.
No, but the animator who worked on it actually recorded himself. And
skipping outside?
Yes, he was outside the studio recording himself, twisting his legs like Uma with his hands, even the facial expression and the neck.
Wow.
And he was just running around, and we voiced it. We were like, what is he doing? And but he did it so well, if you see Uma and his performance, it's like you wouldn't know which is the real one.
It's true. I've seen the video and I can tell.
It's an Oscar-winning performance, and everyone needs to see that.
I think we need to see that video.
I think definitely need to see that.
It's also a lot of hidden acting talents within the art department here.
Yeah, sometimes it gets a bit dangerous, because they're getting the characters so much. We sometimes need to get a psychiatrist
to get them out.
Yeah, it's like, you're not this person. And then they have like, multiple personality disorders because they've worked on so many cards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Be an animator.
Yeah. It'll be fun, they said. It'll be safe, they said. No.
So it was really interesting learning a bit about some of these brand new cards which are coming, but now we're going to take some time to look at some of the pre-existing cards and delve into the lore a little bit more. So Adalbert has been cooking up something for the past few weeks, and he's very excited to share it with you.
Greetings! You play! You play, you play, you play. Perhaps lamely so, perhaps exceedingly well. But you put in hours, and so you think you know all there is to know about the cards. But you do not know what lies beyond them. So I am here to tell you what lies beyond the frame. To start, 3 women, all formidable. I knew them all, did what they commanded. The first, Jutta Undimmu. A sword maiden unparalleled. Since childhood, vowed before the goddess Freya she would only wed the man who would defeat her in a duel. Many brave lads of Faroe Isle attempted as much and failed, miserably so. Who do we see here? Yes, Jutta sat upon her Duchess, defeated, and whose shadow looms over her. 2 sword hilts erect over his shoulder. That's right, Witcher Geralt of Rivia. Wed, they did not. But other things. The second, Keira Metz. An eccentric, a hater of the filthy outdoors, a maker of aphrodisiacs, a user of aphrodisiacs, a pusher of aphrodisiacs. But upon the card, we see Keira emitting a kinetic blast. 'Twas at the Battle of Kaer Morhen, in the age when the wild had descended upon the earth. A battle that swayed the world's fate, and at which Keira found her mate and partner in the Witcher, Lambert. And though we do not see Lambert on Keira's card, we do see Keira upon Lambert's card, flailing her arms about and sending elves flying. Alas, I was caught in one of her blasts. Yes, I was there too. Elsewise, I could not have brought you this tale. And last, the third of our formidable females, who, alas, ended chained to a rock. Berna Bran, for of her I speak, widow of King Bran of Clan Tuirsech, mother of his firstborn son Svanrig. She had the will to power and did what was required, perpetrating a great massacre at a feast. But I ask you, what else did those gluttons deserve? And so I ventured down to the coast to witness and document her noble suffering, her slow but admirable waning whipped by winds and water. Alas, a gust tore the scroll from my hand, which slapped her across the face, rendering her suffering a trifle, a fact I much regret. There you have them, Gwenters, one and all, 3 formidable females. Join me next time for more words.
Yeah, I think she deserved it, right? The slap on her face
with the newspaper.
It's just a paper.
It was harsh, but yeah, like actually getting to know the story behind the cards is really cool. Because some of the things that he mentioned, like Yuta, for example, I didn't know it was Geralt's shadow.
No,
I didn't look at the cards so much to actually notice that. So it's good to get the background story and kind of, you know, like you guys said, the cards themselves, they already have a story, but to learn more and more is really cool. Yeah.
And I've seen that Lambert card so much, but I never realized Kira was in the background.
Yeah, she's in the background.
Yeah, and the 2 cards
it's like
relate.
the same scene, but in a different angle.
Yeah,
it's cool. It has like a you know 360 VR dimension.
Because we're used to the kind of trio card, so like the Shield Maidens or something, but this gives you a kind of like a 360 view of the situation.
Oh yeah, and let me tell you that it's a nightmare for the animators.
Yeah, but the illustrations are usually like so good all the time that you know what's happening in the card, so it's actually not that difficult. It's only the concept that gets tricky sometimes, like with Siri, but most of the time it's like we know what's happening.
Yeah,
and we know the
cool. So we can even go more complicated next time.
Yeah,
no, I shouldn't have said
go
that.
crazy.
I can take that back.
Okay, awesome. So now we're going to move on to the next segment of the show, which is one of our favorites, and this is the Community Corner.
All right, guys, welcome to the Community Corner. What I have for you today is actually a piece with me here.
Look at that.
And I'm gonna need your help, Ash, to unfold this beauty.
Redania, Mahakan Mountains.
Yeah, here we go. Here, it's a map of the Witcher world, and it's really cool, handmade, and it's actually used in the Witcher school. So they use this map to kind of portray.
Here. It's really
nice little details. You have like Tucson, there's Temeria, Redania, all of them.
Yeah, they've even got the smaller places, like they've got Vengerberg, Rivia.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
No, that's where Yennefer is from.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Nice.
I really like this one. Yeah, it's by Katarzyna Hummelt. And yeah, she made this, and they're like
good job,
it's a little.
Yeah.
Someone died to make this.
It has a bloody hand here. I don't know what's up with that. Nothing good for sure. Let's fold this away. Moving on. I'll just put this here. Moving on. We also have an awesome shield. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
By Alejandro Anzolega, and he's known also as Mahakam Workshop on Facebook. And yeah, our shields are our ramparts, pretty much. Yeah.
I love this. It's like a full-sized Shield Maiden shield.
Yeah, and
it's
it
incredible.
looks totally like in the illustration. So.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. Really good. I think you would need one to protect yourself.
Yeah,
you have the sword, but you don't
have the sword,
shield.
but I don't have the shield.
You don't need it.
Yeah,
you're sort of a berserk and.
Yeah, just.
So, Boja, Shield Maiden cosplay confirmed.
That's the week of today. Tell me,
I could maybe next episode. Yeah. All right, moving on. It's Ibedia Mademoiselle. That's the author.
Mademoiselle. Perfect.
Yeah, thank you. And it's a Temerian soldier, and it's really cool because it's a different twist to the character. And I really like the art style because it could like totally be a Gwent card.
Yeah, it looks like it's come straight from the studio and it should be part of the card collection.
Awesome work.
Also, we have 2 cosplays that we had with us at BGS, so Brazil Game Show.
Yeah, we know them pretty well.
Yeah, so Shermi and Nadia, Shermi Cosplay and Nadia Sonica, and were shot by Bruno Antonucci Fotografia.
Speaking of shooting, they were a catapult at the show, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
we were just shooting.
There was a life-sized trebuchet or catapult at the Brazil Game Show.
Yeah, we're catapulting T-shirts.
Oh, just T-shirts.
Yeah.
No boulders.
No. It was safe. Everybody was safe.
No one got hurt.
Yeah. Also, I encourage you to send us your memes. So if you follow us on Facebook or Twitter, in the comment section you can add your own meme. And the meme we have today is the Nilfgaardian knight who is praising the sun, and it's like step by step. It's very cool.
Nice. Do you praise the sun every day?
Of course.
Several times a day.
Yeah,
It's so cold, you have to do that.
Yeah.
Poland is kind of cold nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Especially when there's winter time and it's cold. Yeah, it's praise the sun. And as always, I want you to send your plays of the month, so you have to go to playgwent.com/POTM. And
Yeah.
what was that?
So that was fantastic. It was really nice to see all of the creations in the community corner, in particular the physical props which people are making. Maybe we could get a few sent and decorate the place around here. Okay, so that is the end of the show. I really hope you enjoyed learning some stuff from our guests this week, learning about the cards within Gwent. It's been really interesting hearing the behind the scenes, especially what the